Jinger Duggar recalls horse riding experience for 19 kids and counting that didn't make TV. Jinger Duggar, a star on the former TLC series, 19 Kids and Counting, has revealed a deleted scene from the show. She'll never forget when she rode horseback for a traumatizing episode that never aired. Before TLC's 19 Kids and Counting was cancelled in 2015, took part in several scenes where the series followed her large family. Once, she was terrified during a horse ride, but they didn't air the scene. Jinger recalls traumatic scene. Jinger has recalled a traumatizing experience while filming 19 Kids and Counting from 2008 to 2015. She was very young at the time, when cameras captured the moment she rode a horse in New Mexico. The scary moment happened on a dude ranch called Truth or Consequences, which was 2.5 hours from the closest town. It had nothing, Jinger told husband Jeremy Vuolo in a YouTube video. We drove and drove and drove, and it felt like we were never going to get there, she explained. It's an out in the middle of nowhere dude ranch, she recalled, but she thought she'd get to blissfully ride horses for days. She added, on one day, they were taking us out on a trail ride and I got on a horse and they were like, this horse is chill, it's kind of slow. But, they failed to tell me one thing. TLC didn't air scary moment, she recalled. We came up to this body of water, that was like a wide creek, but the horse stood there for a second and then it jumped over the creek with me on its back and then it started bucking. I was holding onto the horn and it shook me up quite a bit, so they took me off, Jinger added. Despite thinking her fear would make good TV, TLC decided not to air the footage. She suggested of the trail ride, which was meant to air on the 19 Kids and Counting pilot, maybe they didn't use the footage because I was, like, traumatized, and they were trying to be nice. Jeremy Vuolo opens up about food scarcity growing up. Duggar family followers saw clues years ago. Jeremy Vuolo revealed that some of her siblings would hide their food in the bathroom out of fear of it being taken from them. Duggar family followers have long suspected the older kids suffered from food insecurity. The Duggar family rose to fame in the early 2000s. With that fame came money. The Duggar family is considered fairly comfortable these days. With a net worth in the millions, they can buy plenty of food. Still, it wasn't always that way. Before TLC came calling, the Duggar family struggled to make ends meet. Family followers have long suspected the family's oldest children contended with food scarcity. Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar's sixth child, Jeremy Vuolo, recently revealed a food-related anecdote that points to food insecurity within the Duggar household. Jeremy Vuolo reveals that her siblings hid their food in the bathroom. Jeremy Vuolo is sharing more about growing up in the Duggar family than ever before. With a new book slated to be released early next year, she's sharing tidbits of her past with podcast listeners, but it's not all happy. The mother of two recently revealed some of her siblings' disgusting habits. On the Jinger and Jeremy podcast, Jeremy Vuolo revealed that some of her siblings would take their food in the bathroom to prevent others from eating it. She said their mother, Michelle Duggar, was aware of the behavior and tried to break the habit. Still, her siblings feared being left without a meal. Jinger insisted that her siblings had no reason to hide food, especially in the bathroom. She told her husband that Michelle Duggar made plenty of food. Still, she was coy about whether there were enough snacks to keep active and busy kids feeling full and comfortable all day long. Other Duggar family members have hinted about food insecurity before. While Jinger insisted there was no reason for her siblings to hide food as her mother made plenty, Duggar family followers don't buy it. It is far from the first time that one of the Duggar kids has hinted at food scarcity through their words or actions. Jill Dillard is the Duggar offspring who addressed the issue the most upfront. In her memoir, Counting the Cost, Jill recalled the first time the TV crew accompanied her family to the store. Jill remembered the trip as a treat. Because the production team was footing the bill, they were allowed to add foods they were never allowed to get. Jill said they were excited to add Lucky Charms and frozen pizza to their carts. Jill wrote that they all left with smiles, knowing they would not have to deal with another week of tater tot casserole and bean sandwiches. While Jill didn't say she grew up dealing with food insecurity, the anecdote paints a vivid picture. Jinger Duggar reveals what traumatized her growing up with counting on family. The big picture. Jinger Duggar revealed a traumatizing horseback incident from her time on 19 Kids and Counting. The Duggar family's strict upbringing under Jim Bob Duggar and the controversial Institute in Basic Life Principles. The scandal involving Bill Gothard and Josh Duggar led to the cancellation of the family's reality TV shows. The Duggars were a cultural phenomenon in the early days of their TLC reality series 19 Kids and Counting. The family rose to fame on the network as a strictly conservative Christian family under the umbrella of the authority of their father, Jim Bob Duggar, who followed the fundamentalist beliefs of a sect known as the Institute in Basic Life Principles. In her book, Becoming Free Indeed, daughter Jinger Duggar wrote about her experiences being raised with the controversial principles the sect promoted, saying that now, as an adult, she realized that some of what she had been taught was hurtful and untrue, concluding, "I knew I needed to speak publicly about this because I promoted teachings that I now believe are damaging." The church has come under fire for the shocking abuse of power shown by Bill Gothard, the founder, when multiple women came forward to accuse him of sexual abuse. While the lawsuit was eventually dropped and the church's investigation deemed his behavior inappropriate rather than illegal, in her book Jinger compared the church leader to her brother, Josh Duggar, who is currently serving time in prison for child pornography charges. The scandal that emerged surrounding Josh's confession that he had forcibly touched underage girls, including his younger sisters, Jill Duggar and Jessa Duggar, was a significant factor for the cancellation of 19 Kids and Counting and the spin-off series Counting On. What traumatized Jinger Duggar on 19 Kids? Jinger recently opened up about an experience she had while filming the pilot for 19 Kids and Counting in a YouTube video she posted on Wednesday, August 7th, from a series where she speaks about her experience with reality TV, titled Growing Up on TV. In the video, Jinger and her husband, Jeremy Vuolo, had a conversation about what would be the wildest thing she could remember happening to her while filming. She described a time when her parents took her to a ranch in a city in New Mexico called Truth or Consequences, and the excitement all of her siblings had at the idea of getting to ride horses for several days during their stay at the ranch. But Jinger was not prepared for what happened on a trail ride one day. She described how she was put on a horse named Samson, and was told he was calm and would go slow. However, apparently the horse had an aversion to water, because when they came across a wide creek, Jinger's horse suddenly bolted over the body of water, and began bucking wildly on the other side. Jinger described how the incident shook her up, and then the conversation turned to her deep-seated fear of heights. Jeremy wondered how the series could have neglected to use the dramatic footage in the series, and Jinger joked they might have refrained from using the footage, because I was, traumatized, and the producers were trying to be nice. Although she then remarked that footage of a terrorized child on a wild ride would usually make for great reality TV. Perhaps her husband's observation that she could have been seriously injured in the incident had more to do with the network's decision not to air the footage they had captured.